Hey, we're here at Gunner's Firearms again with Maggie. Maggie, it's so good to see you.
Hi, Mark. It's great to see you. Hi, Internet.
Hello,
You're
Internet.
Looking
Yeah.
absolutely fabulous.
You're looking good,
today.
Internet. Yeah.
So, I mean, very, very slim frame.
It's a wide angle, though. Hey.
We're not calling you wide.
Yeah, no. So, sorry, I got sidetracked with that last comment. We were talking a little bit, and I just kind of asked you the question because I've been hearing a bit about the scarcity and popularity of older war rifles.
Yeah.
SKSs to some degree, AKs maybe, but you know, Mosin Nagants, the old World War II rifles that somehow they're just hot and they're hard to get.
Yeah, so we call those like vintage military surplus.
Mm-hmm.
Back in their heyday, they were as popular and as plentiful as the AR market is today. A lot of different price points, a lot of different importers on those coming back, and a lot of different options for grade. So you could get the pristine, you could get match grade stuff for much cheaper than what you could pick them up at current market pricing. But the problem is, as the decades progress, that surplus has become more and more scarce. Those firearms that were so plentiful, they were sporterized. The original stocks were pitched and chucked, they were chopped down, they were shortened, they were lightened, they were turned into their son's first hunting rifle. They came back from the war and they were turned into granddad's hunting rifle, dad's hunting rifle, that was then passed down through the generations. And the ones that have maintained all of the heavy original stocks and original hardware are getting harder and harder to find.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't stored. They were stored in an attic, in the basement, in a garage, someplace that was not climate controlled, and now they are just, they're in poor shape. And now what we're getting is a smaller pool of what used to be surplus. It's no longer a surplus. It is few and far between these days, and as they come in, you're seeing just the price on those increase quite a bit if you're looking for something authentic and original condition versus something that is maybe a user grade or sporterized. You can still find a lot of the sporterized stuff, and certain markets, they are happy to acquire those, but
it seems like the popularity of these particular rifles are really more towards the collectability of them, the vintage aspect of it. So I wouldn't even think that
nostalgia.
Yeah, I would.
There is nostalgia to that, collecting something that my grandfather, my great uncle, or someone in the family tree used. And now in today's modern society, wanting to acquire those vintage firearms. And for some of the older ones, like if we're talking about those Vetterlies, those old like rimfire black powder cartridge, like complete cartridges and stuff like that, you can't even find ammo for some of this stuff anymore. And so if you can't find the ammo for it, what good is it other than a wall hanger? And not everybody wants firearms as art on the walls.
I like firearms as art, for the record.
They're beautiful.
They are beautiful.
They really are. They have their own
a little beauty to them.
Yes.
I just like looking at them. Well, let me ask this: if they're getting harder to find, and they're going up in value for the same reason, because it sounds like they're harder to find, they're more popular, And they're getting more expensive. Because I remember going into a gun store back in the 90s, and I think I bought a Mosin Nagant for like $69.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a K98 for like $79. That obviously is not a thing anymore. And we're talking about the 90s, but what are we looking at? Like, when was the last time you saw a Mosin? Do you guys?
About a month ago.
About a month ago? What did that sell for, if you don't mind me asking, if you recall?
$395. It was around $375.
$375.
I disagree with the popularity. I think with the price increase of the Mosins and all that, what used to be $79, the popularity has actually kind of gone down because it's unattainable at those prices. That's 15 years ago, military rifles and even handguns were more popular because they were so cheap.
Okay.
And expensive. You could buy them.
I got you. So it's
a young man that was 21, 18 years old could buy a nice military rifle for under $200. You just can't get that now.
gotcha.
The ammo for those was pretty cheap too.
Yes, ammo was cheap as well.
Ammo was cheap and ammo was plentiful for those, and we don't have the overrun of that cheap ammo anymore. So, you know, where somebody could go out and for like, you know, a few $100 have a rifle and an entire case of ammo to go and just shoot up at the range. That's
15 years ago, we would have, 10 to 15 different styles of military rifles in here. So we
And just
don't
not anymore. So if I understand you right, it's really more about, they're not necessarily more popular,
Yeah, I think they're still popular. Just
but not more necessarily
Yeah,
than they
they're
were a few years ago. It's just more, it's scarce. So it's, demand has stayed roughly the same. It's just supply
has decreased.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
And so that is going to drive a higher price on those when the supply is minimal. And to some extent, you'll go months without seeing one walk through the door. And then all of a sudden, maybe 2 or 3 turn up in various condition, some that may be more desirable than others. And it just, some things will sit for a long time until you find a buyer willing to spend that amount of money on that nostalgic firearm.
Yeah. Well, this makes so much more sense. I guess I do kind of have a question on the popularity of these and who's buying them. Is if gun sales are decreasing as a whole, because I would think cookie cutter guns, so to say, are kind of less popular. I don't mean to call them cookie cutter, but you know what I mean.
Mr. Potato Head firearms.
Like your standard, just kind of polymer grip, semi-automatic double stack that everybody makes.
Yeah.
Some version of that. That these, as kind of gun sales slow for various reasons, made too many videos about that.
Yeah.
Does it seem like the desire for these historic guns have slowed, or are they just kind of still, when you get them, they're going kind of thing? I guess that's a strange question.
It is,
I don't know if that made sense
and
or
it
not.
really depends. It's much dependent upon the price point and how much somebody is willing to spend. We had the straight pull 1911 rifle, the Swiss rifle, and
the K11.
yes,
Yeah.
so we had one of those on the shelf that sat for quite a while, and finally, after some of the collectible shows came through and went, we finally had a guy show up and go, I went table after table after table looking for something like this, and their pricing was either too high, they wanted too much for them, or they weren't in this condition. They were the imports. They weren't something like this without importation marks. It's a bring back with the original parts and pieces on it. So it really depends. It's just finding the right buyer, and you don't find what you're looking for unless you are making those stops out of your way at those small little gun shops that'll buy, sell, and trade. And you need to stop in more than once every couple months. Once every couple weeks is usually when you'll start to see Oh, hey. Wow, this wasn't here. So, morning, Sean.
Good
All
morning.
right. Well, hey, Maggie, gosh, thank you so much for this. And really interesting stuff. I think it's fascinating. And honestly, I miss that. I miss the abundance of those old war rifles.
Yes.
So, yeah, so thank you for your time. Thank you for your time.
Oh, you are kindly welcome. Thank you so much for making the time to stop by, Mark. It is
Absolutely.
always great to see you.
You too. You too.
Good luck on your travels in the future and in the present, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Internet.